All right, now what? Now what? He didn't actually want a cheesy pretzel yet, so we'll see. There you go.
So pretty.
Hi. Hey, there you go. No peas? No, not hungry. Take it off. So this is Elvis. Elvis is in the building. Oh, do I have your attention now? Good job. What do you think? Oh. What's that? So the first part is finding a treat that your dog likes. Do you think he likes it? We'll see. Did you find a piece? There you go. Yeah? Okay. The second part is being able to just start with basic eye contact. So if that means I have it or I'm holding it, you can have it off to the side. You can actually have it behind your back. And again, I usually give them that 1 to 3 minutes to just kind of check it out and see. We actually have not worked in this, remember. This is usually where little dogs are. Good. I might help them come back. And if he's like too distracted, too whiny, I don't worry about it. I don't say anything to it. I don't have to negate it. I just want to wait for it. Hi. Yes, there you go. And all I want to start doing is just building it to say, hey, same game that we've been starting to play. Yes, there you go. Oh, you got it? Go get it. Bring yourself up a little bit. Good. Got it? Hi. And when he first came in 4 days ago, he actually was curled in a corner, shaking up front. Didn't want to touch anything, didn't want to eat anything. Tail tucked. Elvis.
Because he's doing so good.
Elvis, yes. Oh, that didn't work. Usually he catches better. That's okay. So we changed the environment. Yes. Oh. And all again, as I'm wanting, is eye contact. Hi, good job. Yes, perfect. On the right side, slightly, right? Good. Good. Yes. On the left side, it's not about perfection. Like if I wanted them tucked in, we can tuck. Oh, you okay? Oh.
He's
Is it a different dog?
From when he was returned. So it's really great to see that. I mean,
Okay. You'll make me cry because I'm like, all right. I just take the dog and work the dog in front of me. So you know,
no,
she's a rescue person. Yeah.
So he was adopted and then returned, and they had said that he was aggressive and he growled at their daughter, and it wasn't going to work, and they returned him, and he was a scared mess.
Yeah.
So to see him like this.
He's a happier. He's still kind of a mess. It's okay. You know, whining and crying, but he's a happier mess.
I mean, he's still, he's got a ways to go, but
he's a good boy. He's a good boy. Like that's, I don't, yeah. Elvis, come. Yes. Where did I say COME? I kind of whistled, got his attention when he was dedicated to me, right? When he started to come towards me. So eye contact is your first homework. So your second homework is usually going to be that recall. And so what I can do, well, even if I'm by myself, is I'll toss a treat out. And then I'll just simply, Elvis, come. Yes. Okay. Right? So my yes means a paycheck. If he looks me in the eye, that's his name. If he's facing that direction, I'm not going to say C-O-M-E just yet. I'm going to wait for him to be dedicated to me. Can you say hi? Hi.
With the eye contact, do you want to have the name said every time?
Yes. The eye contact in the beginning, I do say the name every time because that's what I want him to associate with the eye contact. So I wait for him to look at me, and then when he looks at me, that's when I say his name, and then I say yes. So if I'm doing that again, I have the treat, right, and I have it off the side. Elvis, yes. And then I move my hand. You'll notice that the treat is the last thing I think about. Why? Because if I move my hand, where does his eye contact go? Right? It goes right to the hand. So if he learns that it's over there, but he's got to choose, yes. He can just get yes and paid, or I would say his name. You know, yes and paying is not inappropriate. You're still marking the correct eye contact. So, eye contact, first thing, usually I say it with their name. I will play the game of you go get something. Unleash in the house is up to you. Elvis, come. Yes. If he chooses to sit, it's fine. I'm not going to require it. In fact, I don't require sits with recalls. I'd rather them just running to me and having a good time with that. Because hopefully, Elvis, come. And if he's like, nope, then I go, good boy, but I don't say yes and pay. Because he doesn't, in 4 days, doesn't have enough repetitions for me to say, strict okay. He's doing better, but not there yet. Elvis, come. Yes. Very good. Okay? So eye contact first, recalls next homework assignment. For dogs that are whining, crying, barking, it's very easy to actually start this game of just quiet, yes, and pay. Move to another new spot. Quiet, yes, okay. I'm gonna move to another new spot. Quiet, yes. Okay.
Even though they're not barking.
Even though they're not barking, because that's what I want him to think of what a quiet is. And then this, Elvis, quiet, yes. Okay. Because now I have a way to turn him off, right?
Okay.
That barking is turned on switch. Now I have a way to turn him off to say, calm down, be quiet, you're cool, right? Freebie.
So what if the dog is like, gets into the crate and then starts barking?
So when you're in the crate, I would probably, if you have a dog that's whining in the crate, I would stuff a Kong or a bone or something to say that we start to play crate games. Crate games are simply you go in for 2 minutes, you chew on your bone, then you come back out. Or you go in for 5 minutes, you chew on your bone, then you come out. So that's easy for them to be successful and not whining. And then if they're whining and crying, if they're not panicking, so this is more of just whining and crying. He's not panicking, he's not tail tucked and shivering. You know, it's kind of a temper tantrum in a way.
I will tell you're still in the house.
Yeah, what are you doing? So I just let it be. If it starts to escalate into panic, it's a different story with anxiety. But otherwise, I let it kind of do something like that. And then when he chooses to, what we call impulse control, he chooses to back himself up or do something like that, and wait. Now the trick is that everybody who looks at his eyes when he does that, you've reinforced that works, right? It gets someone's attention. So it's really tricky, like with the crate, we can't give it any attention. If they're panicking, we do something different. Like if they're going to cause harm to themselves, it's a different story. But if they're whining and crying, I tend to like play it out a little bit, but then I'll try to set them up the next time for success. I'm saying, here's something really tasty. Elvis, quiet, yes. Because now he got my attention. Even if it's just capturing him sniffing at something. He didn't jump up. There's plenty of stuff he could jump up for.
So with the like quiet,
Off?
like
Yes.
when he's out. Normally he doesn't bark when he's out or whine or whatever. So would the quiet then help when he gets into the crate?
Correct. Yes, because you're setting him up for the definition, because then you're getting the whining and crying. You could try quiet, and if the dog's like, oh, okay,
And
then yes, and pay. And then I walk away, and then wait till him to be quiet, and then quiet, yes, give him another treat, walk away. And you can do that, again, long-term picture is forever, but short-term is even just play a crate game. If I walk away and you're quiet, I'll give you a treat.
Okay.
If I walk away and you're quiet, I'll give you a treat. And then you work on duration. So
Okay.
instead of that instant return, we wait 10 seconds. Like we breathe outside for 10 seconds, and then we come back. Or then we wait 30 seconds, and then we come back, right?
Alright.
Yes. So eye contact, recall, quiet. Kind of, again, the common theme is even if he's sitting, but off, yes. Why I cross my arms in and off is it's easy for kids to do. Like if you want to go greet a child, I usually say to the child, cross your arms, because this is a very physical cue for a dog, especially if they're face to face. Like, oh, if I sit, I get cookies. And that's kind of what we're teaching him. Did I have a crumb down here? Good. Off? Yes. Very nice. And again, it's all about when you go to a new spot. Right? He's like, Elvis, off? Yes. On the right hand side, on the left hand side. He's like, oh, I just want to say, we're doing it. Hi. Yes. Good boy. Off there. Good. And I always go, yes. And pay for good, proper greetings, right? And this is what he was doing like all day at the event. I know, I'm cheating. Haha. Here. Good. You want to go say hi? Go say hi. Yes. Good. Excellent.
We do that with people they already know, like with our kids.
Mm-hmm.
Cause we have an almost 1-year-old, and I think he's, in my eyes, he sees him as like the runt of the litter, and I'm just gonna like pounce on you and not.
Probably like a sibling type of, yeah.
Um,
So at first I would be on leash and I would probably step on the leash even, because if the dog is a big jumper or enthusiastic that way, the easiest solution honestly is to do this. And I don't necessarily want it where they feel the leash all the time, but if they go to jump, they're not going to cause any impact or touch anybody. So, and we work on proper greetings more next week, but the first starter is just teaching off. So if you're stepping on the leash and the kids are 3 feet away, just can you stand there and cross your arms? Because then off. Okay. And then they
have the
move.
kids say it, or if I'm stepping on the
Or
leash.
like I would say it with you guys first, and then I would have the kids if they're pretty late. How old again?
They're 4, 2, and we'll say 1.
Yeah. Okay.
We're crazy.
1-year-old might be a little unclear on the off thing, but
He might be,
yeah.
yeah.
But again, if you're directing,
He's
it's
a
like
herding dog, and I think
Okay.
that's the thing that pisses off my oldest kid the most. Like, she wants to love the dog, and she's
And he's
like,
like,
but if I
"Eh."
get close to you, you're gonna like push me against the wall or the couch or whatever. And he actually doesn't typically jump on the kid.
yes.
He's just gonna get a little excited with the baby and.
It's a fun choice.
Good job, right?
You're more fun. You're interactive.
I think the kids is like really like it's funny. My 2-year-old actually has no fear of the dog really, and we'll go up there and she's really good. Here, smell me. All right, yay! And
Okay.
my 4-year-old's like, no,
Yeah, cool. So, I mean, again, even if you just create distance is always your friend. You know, when I first had this dog even out, we went to a car event on Sunday, like day 1 that I had him. And I'm like, we're just going to bring him out distance. And, you know, 15 feet away, how does he act? 10 feet away, how do they act? 3 feet away. If the kids are at a safe enough distance where the dog can't jump on them, can't cause interaction that way, the dog can throw the temper tantrum, bounce all around, and then finally go. And when the dog goes, you say off, yes, okay. And then you move them, and the kids move a little bit, but they stay at that distance.
Would off be a good command even for the herding?
Pull him. I get you both. Both aggression. Yeah, hi, thanks. Mwah. Appreciate it. Here, lots of stuff in there. You got it? Good boy. So off could be something for herding or you know, that's where on leash prevention is going to be the biggest key.
He's on leash in our house
Always?
the whole time
Okay.
right now because we just can't.
So
just
stepping
break
on
him.
it and practicing a 3-minute session though of, you know, you're stepping on it, he can't follow, and the kids just slowly walk, but then they pick up the pace and then they start running and then they grab toys and you're just working on off or leave it. You know, if he's like this but then he stops, leave it, yes, pay, just like your toys. Okay? So all of the, you know, pick your word or phrase that you would commonly say. If he's going to go herd, what would you be telling him besides no?
She's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Should it be
You know,
different?
could
from
be
off
leave
and
it. Yeah, could be leave it. I mean, leave it kind of applies all over. Drop it for me means spit it out, right? Leave it means don't look at, touch, sniff at it, whatever, right? So all of those things can be, you know, I might say leave it is a good cue. Off if he's jumping up is a great cue because then he's not jumping. But if he's just herding, I would say leave it. But I wouldn't say it while he's in the act of. I would let him go, and then he's like, what? Leave it, yes. And well, I'm sorry, you're probably thinking that that's for you. He's like, what, man? I keep going for it, and you keep saying to leave it. Sorry. is that kind of make, like, try to set them up for successful repetitions versus waiting for it to happen. Let it happen, like, by stepping on the leash and make a mistake, but that didn't work. And then as soon as you stop and they're still moving, leave it, yes. Yeah, and he's like, fine, I'm stuck on leash. Leave it, yes, and hey. I get paid to not go after them, because what do herding dogs typically get paid to do? Herd. Genetics. You know, we are all genetically programmed a certain way. So teaching the dog the opposite of their genetics is tricky, but it can be done. It's just teaching them what works. And what works now is not going after the kids. What works is not going after the kids. You get higher value stuff, which is really cool. And then we can start establishing like interactions with the kids even by, you know, like toys and things like that later. You know, where they can actually carry toys with them and be fine with that. You know, he goes for the toy instead of them. So, collar game. So the other kind of starter thing would be just teaching your dog. I have treats in front, and I hold the collar, and I go, collar, yes, and I pay. It's really just a simple, easy game, kind of like your quiet or your off game. Really easy stuff. It doesn't require a lot, just commercial training, right? And I want to teach them that if I grab the collar, yes, they get paid, okay? Because I want to eventually, if I have to, collar, let's go. Yes. If I have to guide them, if I have to grab them from a recall, commonly dogs play catch me if you can. What do they see when a hand comes close? You're going to grab me by the collar. What do they see when someone goes to pet them? This. I want them thinking every hand reaching towards them is awesome. It's jackpotted, it's great, it's good. So life is fine. They have no reason to bite a hand coming at them. If you're having your dog meet people, I would not have somebody reach forward. I would always have them actually hold their hand at their side with something valuable in it. Because then the dog has choice of coming over and just gently taking something. If you give a hand forward and the dog backs away, make sure you allow the dog to back away. If the dog's like, don't want interaction, that's fine. Don't keep pressuring him. This presents a bite target, unfortunately. If the dog's in a down position and you're doing this and the dog feels threatened, they might nip. Even if they don't want to hurt you, they might be just like, go away. I don't want to teach them that that's what I want you to do. I want to teach them that this is what I want you to do. Yeah. I'm kind of worried. Your tail kind of went flat. He's okay. Haha. He's like, yeah, it's not natural balance. Pretzel? Your pretzel? Yeah, you're eating your pretzels? Oh, there's some pretzels. Yes. Catch it? Almost. Just that throw. So, eye contact recall. Being able to do the collar game. Quiet and off, but then also if you lure their nose up, whoops, without dropping a treat, see, trainers make mistakes. But if I have him lured and put his nose up, I've had a lot of snacks, and you're putting them all together. See, I'm doing everything I say not to do. Good. Nose goes up, butt goes down, lure comes away. When he looks at me, sit, yes, and then he gets paid. The important step is if you're luring a behavior, you want to get the lure out of the picture. You don't want them focusing like right here and then I got sit and then I got paid. You want them going, okay, where did it go? Oh, and then they're in that position looking at you, having that attention, and that's it. He actually, based on what I'm saying, he probably won't down for me at all. So I'm not able to show you that with him. I don't think. And again, I don't worry too much about this without honestly. And he was trained to down from the sit. Usually I train from a stand. Sit. Sit. Yes. A little far. What's the marrow? Very left? Probably not. We're gonna get the marrow out. Whoa, hi. Nice to see you again. But in theory, and I can bring out Harper if you want to see the down, but if you have them SIT first, you can do it that way. Good. And then if you bring them, and usually I say good, I don't say why yes. Then if you bring them to the ground, they're either going to sit back up or they're going to lay down. Once they lay down, I tend to just barely move the treat away so that they look at me, because then I can say down, yes, and hey. Not something I've worked on him with. Didn't really care about down. Go lay down in his bed is fine. Wasn't really as concerned about that. But if you have them also in a stand position, the other option is to actually bring their nose to the ground and fold them backwards so that they down. If you have, does everybody have 5 more minutes? Because I'll bring out Harper to show you that, because it would probably make a little bit more sense if I can show you that. Okay, is that okay? All right. You did good. You did very good. Yeah. What do you think? You got it? Okay. There you go. Ready? Oh. There we go. Yes. Good job.